Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Veronica, and I'm a customer relationship manager here at ISI. I want to welcome you to today's office hour session. Today, Adam's going to be walking us through a topic many of us have wrestled with, which are filters and operators in reports. Over the years, Adam has become an expert in fine tuning data fields to achieve the exact output needed in both in terms of layout and content. His ability to navigate the complexities of our reporting tool has helped countless team members here at ISI get the most out of the portal. Personally, I found the wide range of options within the portal a little bit overwhelming at times. I hope I'm not alone, especially when it comes to knowing which filters and operators to use for specific reporting needs. So, Adam, can you kick things off by sharing a little bit about your journey? And also, how did your key learnings and experiences guide you towards mastering the right filters and operators for common report scenarios?
Got it. Yeah. Thanks, Veronica. Well, I found it interesting because when it comes to my experiences with like filters and operators, when I started at ISI all those years ago, I kind of had like very little telecom experience. So jumping into our reporting tool and really grasping all of the available options, like you experienced, is a little overwhelming. I think the biggest challenge but also the best reward was coming to fully understand the capabilities of the filters aspect of our reporting product. Much of it was looking through the help documentation, but also some of it was help with trial and error. However, like much of it was like having others walk me through their use cases and learning from their experiences. So that's kind of like my journey with utilizing the product is just through the experiences. So, but that being said, after today, I hope that all of you walk away with a much better understanding of utilizing filters and operators to enhance your knowledge on how to utilize the reporting tool to your benefit. Now, as always, there's going to be time for Q&A following the presentation. And like Veronica said, I think there'll be plenty of questions on operators. So where this will be time for us to ask questions regarding today's topic or, honestly, in the application in general after today's session. As always, as I do every week, let's do a quick webinar housekeeping statement. First up, the chat section I always turn off, so just utilize the Q&A section. You can do that during the session so that those questions are kind of queued up for us. Veronica will also be monitoring that section and will bring anything up that might come up mid-session. She might even come off the and say, hey, Adam, I see that a lot of questions are coming up on this. Maybe go back. That's not a problem whatsoever. Secondly, once the presentation is over, you'll have the ability to unmute yourself, but we're going to ask that you use a hand raise function so that we can call upon the people in the order that was received. And then lastly, we're going to be recording the presentation portion only so that you can actually review these video contents later, which I have a lot of the last office hours actually up on the office hours website. So you're welcome to review those as well down the road if you wanted to as well. But the Q&A session will not be recorded. So you can ask questions unrecorded for your comfort. So as always, thank you guys so much for being here. Let's go ahead and get started. All right. So what I'm going to have you do, or not necessarily do, it's if you'd like to, we're going to have you navigate to app.isianalytics.com. That is the URL is which will log into the newer product. You're welcome to follow along with what I'm doing side by side, or if you just want to watch, that's fine as well. And from here, we're going to go ahead and let me go ahead and jump into a browser. I have already logged into the tool. I have already gone to the reporting, and I've gone ahead and opened up a template of just call record search. All right. Now, selecting filters in the new engine, you're going to see the full list of filters here on this side. And you're going to see that there's some navigation options to kind of break down or expand upon the different filters that are available. And so I think within the new product, this is key for helping you identify where to go for the specific filters that you might want to utilize, okay? I also want to point out that we have redone the help section for an article for these filters. And so I'm going to go ahead and just go to the help section. I've got a link here that'll just bring it to it. You can go to our help section, which can be found either by clicking on the icon down here and clicking on knowledge base, or the question mark up here will also go to our help section. And then you can search for an article called Call Record Search. It's a good one to start with because it lists out all of our available fields, as well as a nice description of what that field does. Something I want to point out, depending on the phone system that you're utilizing, is that not all fields will be available to you in your phone system. And what I mean by that is if we scroll down a little bit, call flags are great. A lot of them will be utilized by all phone systems. But there are going to be Cisco specific fields because the Cisco data has a lot more available fields within the raw data that we receive. Date and time would be universal for everyone. Directory would be universal for everyone as long as you're providing directory, but not all fields like fax number. You may not be feeding a fax number, so that may not be something that you would utilize. And then if we get down to something like quality of service, that also is very specific to specific phone systems. Not all data that we receive for phone systems will have quality of service metrics in it. So just keep in mind when you're looking at this article of that not all fields are reportable, but sometimes you can plug them in and kind of just go and see if you're going to get it. Or if you have questions, you can always reach out and saying, hey, I have an Avaya system. What fields can I utilize in my reporting? So definitely check out the call record search. The other article I recommend is to search for customize template filters. And it's, oh, there we go. Click on that one. Let that one load here for a moment. This one is also our help documentation on how to use filters, as well as describes some of the types of filters, which I'm about to go through, and the available operators for them as well. So I'm going to go through that here momentarily. You can read through the article. You're going to get the same information I'm going to provide, but we're going to go through it here. Okay, so let's talk about the different kinds of filters that are available. And so I'm going to bring back up the PowerPoint. So there comes to 4 different types of filters. We have text filters, numeric filters, lookup filters, as well as directory filters. Okay. The text filters, as always, you're going to get this specific text criteria when you do the search parameter. Numeric filters are just going to be numeric values. So that is the differentiation between filters and numeric. The lookup filters are also going to return results, but based on specific identifiers like data source, something that's being kind of enlisted in the product. Something like maybe data source or a hunt group or something along, maybe even queues in another report or so forth. So those are kind of categories that are already brought in. And then the last one is directory. We've changed directory in the newer product so that you can filter on the directory and find a specific department or cost center or something like that within the directory, as long as you are feeding us a directory. So let's go ahead and walk through a couple of examples of filters. So what I'm going to do is switch back to the product, and we're going to go ahead and talk about the first text-based filter that I want to utilize, and it's going to be extension. I'm going to plug extension into the product, and you'll see the filter show up with the name, and then you'll see an operator. And so this drop down brings up all the available operators that are available for this text filter. And almost all text filters, or I believe all text filters will have all of these operators to be able to kind of like narrow down what you want to see. So again, we're going to go, this is the one office hours I'm pulling up. I'm going to be using the PowerPoint for a couple of different slides. So let's go ahead and switch to the next one. And so with text filters, the operators are like equals, does not equal. And so there's going to be exact match to the specified text. So you're going to say equals this result, or you want to return results that do not equal the exact match. So you're excluding that from the results. You can utilize like, Now keep in mind, like utilizes a pattern and utilizes wildcards. And I will be covering wildcards later down in this section, like I'll do it at the very end, because I want to talk about the use of asterisk as well as question mark for single character or multiple character results using like. Not like using the same thing, or just basically excluding those. Starts with and ends with is probably also a nice feature, especially if you're doing, like, say, a text filter for like phone number. Phone number, even though that is technically numeric, it is considered text because there could be other characters in it as well. And so we want to be able to say starts with or ends with, and say you want to specify a specified text that it starts with and then whatever comes after that, or you want it to end in these 4 digits, something along those lines, with was why you would use different operators to get the results that you're looking for. So switching back to the product, I could easily pull up an extension of 4953, and then it's an exact match scenario. I'm going to push return to validate that extension. Click run now. We're just going to do it for the last day because I don't really need a ton of data to showcase this information. Let this run. And you're going to see here in a moment that it's going to pull up all the records for the last day for extension 4953. Okay. And, just scrolling through that, that's what you're seeing. Closing out of there, let's talk about utilizing some of the operators. So like I could say that I wanted to do starts with, and let's get rid of that and say 49 and return. And so what we're saying in this query is that I want any extension in the database for yesterday that starts with 49. I don't care what comes after it. If there's no characters that come after it, or if there's many characters that might come after it, you can then go ahead and say run now. And again, you're going to get any results back with just 49. Now that might not be any different. Your guys' extensions may, oh, nope, see, 4902, 4915, 4914. So I'm getting anything that starts with 49, but ends in any character or digits after that whatsoever. And it looks like it's all 4-digit characters, right? So that's what we're saying. That's what's in my data. Okay, so everything that's starting with 49. But if I reverse that and I say I want to end with 49, then if I run this, we're going to get very different results. And I know I ran this earlier, and with this, you're saying everything that ends in 49, and we're getting 4 digits, and I wanted to say we got yeah, it's just 4 digits we're saying. I think the phone number, when I do that later, you'll see. So everything 49, so 3149, 2049. So now we're returning everything with that. Okay. I'll show you the wildcard usage and then does not equal. If I did that, we're just going to get a lot of other data because we're just saying don't show us this, and there's a lot in my system. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this and say equals, and we're going to say 4953. So that is a text-based filter. And so you would be able to identify if it's a text-based filter if you added another one and, oh, see, like extension location is not a text-based. This one's a lookup, and I'll cover that a little bit later. But you would know it based on the operators that are available if it's a text-based. Next up is going to be our numeric filters, okay? So something like duration. So we're going to just add more fields to this report. So duration is a numeric filter. And here you're going to see that we have different operators. So equals, does not equal, greater than, less than, and between. And while I'll pull up the PowerPoint, those should be relatively self-explanatory, that numeric fields of equals, it has to exact match that numeric value, or does not match that exact numeric value. Greater than, since we're dealing with duration, you want to see something that is greater than, I don't know, 5 minutes in the query, or less than 30 seconds in the query. And that could be duration, could be ring time, it could be, in queue reporting, could be queues, a queue hold time, or just queue time. And then between, there is a between value as well, so you can actually see things that fall within a specific range of numeric values. Okay, so switching back to my report, we could easily say, I want to see any. Now, if I did this where I said, I want to see anything that is 1 minute and try to run it for this particular extension. Oh, I got to push return on my extension and run this. We're probably not going to return any results for a minute because it has to exactly match a minute of a duration of a call. So very likely they don't have a lot of calls. Yeah, I didn't expect there to be any calls. But if I said I wanted to see anything greater than a minute and ran that, go ahead and get the results, you're then going to see anything that came up for that particular extension that is greater in duration than a minute, okay? Same thing where you can set it where we can do less than, or I'm going to do between at this point. So I'm going to say between a minute and let's say 2 minutes. Let's run that result. Now we're getting any value in the data that is between a minute and 2 minutes in duration and no greater or no less. Okay. All right. The next filter that I want to pull up is going to be a lookup tool. And the one I like to utilize, and this is an example, is data source name. So pulling up data source names allows me to select which like say cluster or data source that we're pulling from. This site potentially has, I think, 6 different data sources. So you'll see here that you can select to please select the pencil mark to select. And it'll bring up another window where you actually select the data source. So I'm going to go ahead and select the UCCX data source because that's where this particular extension lives. And since I didn't qualify that earlier, it was actually looking in every data source for this extension. But for the data that I want to pull back, I just want to look at the UCCX data. And again, this one does equals or does not equal. Okay, so they only have 2 choices. You're saying, I want everything from here, or I want everything except for from here. Okay, and again, I could run this and you'll see that it'll just pull back the UCCX data, all UCCX for data source. And, I have a slide for this and I'll go ahead and go to that. So again, the equals, it does not equal. It's exact match the specified identifier or excluding those that do not match the identifier. Okay. My last one, which is also a lookup tool, is duration. So I'm not sorry, duration. Sorry, lost my train of thought. It is directory. Is it another D word? So add a directory, also a lookup, but this one also pulls up your directory or your organization as you have inputted into the system. Many systems out there that, on this call, you have a directory that's being fed into the system automatically, but not always. Some customers don't use directory for that particular reason. But from here, right now, with the selection, it's just going to look up everyone in the directory. But I can specify where I actually want to look. So example, I want to look in lifelong healthcare, and I want to go to Memorial Hospital, and I want to do contact center since this is a UCCX extension. We'll go ahead and select that. And so now that is also, and we can see that it's equals or does not equal. And again, I could run this again to see the data that it returns within this query. Get those results. Should take a few moments. We're getting real specific in the query. So again, same data, UCCX, the extension, between the duration, and so forth. Okay. Okay. Now, the one thing I do want to specify, and this gets asked every once in a while, all of these filters are considered AND statements. So what we're saying is extension 4953 and between 1 minute and 2 minutes and with UCCX and within the department's contact center. The one thing our product does not do yet is OR statements. So for example, you might want to say, I want to see extension 4953 between a minute and 2 minutes, or I would like to see extension 1853 with calls from a department. You know what I mean? The OR statement does not exist yet in the product. We are currently only working with AND statements. Okay. So just to recap, you do have the ability to look at the help section for a list out of these fields. There's also the categories to help you kind of break them down to know like what kind of data they belong into, and so forth. Okay, so that, and trial and error, you can always plug in a field and see if that returns data that we have for your phone system. Now, what I do want to do just for a moment is to jump back into our classic product, which many of you are probably very familiar with, more so, I think, maybe than the newer products. But I do want to cover, if I go into classic, so I'm going to click this little icon here in the upper right-hand corner. It's going to jump back to our classic product. I go into reporting, go into reports. Let's go ahead and jump into a template. And I'm going to go to call detail record search, which is kind of the same report that I was in the new engine. Again, you have constraints. So filters and constraints are primarily the same thing. We call them constraints in the old product. And you can add in something like extension and do the same thing. They are named, the constraints are named a little different. And personally, I like the renaming because includes is technically an exact match scenario, but that doesn't really, to me, includes doesn't really, for me, really spell out that that's an exact match, whereas equals to me is an exact match. So you do have those capabilities as well, and the operators function the same. Okay, you can also use the wildcards in like, which is where I am going to go to next. And so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go back to, because I already have the tab here, I'm actually going to delete out all of these filters, and I want to use phone number. Phone number is a text field, and you can tell that because it's got these operators. And we're going to do like. Okay. So let's take a time to talk about wildcards. And so what I'm going to do real quick is let's pull up, you guessed it, my PowerPoint. Let's talk about wildcard usage with the like operator. So we have two uses of a wildcard. It's the asterisk or the question mark. An asterisk serves as a wildcard to represent either 0 or more characters in a search query, and it allows you to use it at the beginning or the end, and I'll explain that a little bit later or in a moment here about how you would use this asterisk in the beginning of the statement or the end of the statement. And then the last one is the question mark. The question mark will act as a wildcard to signify a single character to replace in a query. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump back over. And so in the data, I have a phone number that I looked up, and the phone number is 917-659-1447. So before I even do a query or even do a wildcard, let's go ahead and you got to push return to get that value. Let's just run it so you can see that it returns results. Just will show you that we have call records.
And Adam, while we wait for
Mhm.
that, there was
Yep,
a question that was posted in the Q&A.
sure.
Do you want me to read it for you?
I got it. Do you plan on
Got
adding
it.
full Boolean logic, both and or statements at some point in the future? It has been discussed, but it is not currently on the roadmap. But it is something that has been discussed. And if that ever changes, I will be, first of all, very excited to hear that and also to demonstrate that. But I will make sure that that like kind of information would be put in the release notes. And then, we could even, as we do a lot of our newsletters, push that out information that we would be utilizing both the Boolean statements to that because it would be very beneficial. So, but yeah, Veronica and I, I'm sure, would reach out once those kind of changes happened as well. So, okay. So, sorry, return values, and I have 4 or 5 calls here that all happened with that particular external phone number. So 917-659-1447, and those are inbound calls from that external phone number. Okay. So if I went back to this, I could easily do things like I could say 917 659, and I could say, you know what, let me go ahead and do 4 question marks to replace the digit. You're looking for any call. What I would do in this situation would be looking for any call that starts with this area code, this NPA NXX, you know, error code and so forth. And just, we don't care what the last 4 digits of the phone number is. And we can go, and always got to remember to push return to validate. And then we'll run this. And so this, you might get more results because we have more numbers that start with 917, 659, 6737, or 1455, or 9300. So you're getting any result, but it all starts with the first 6, which is what we're saying to do. But we're also saying no more than 4 digits. It has to be exactly 4 digits. It's not saying we don't care how many digits after that. And how you would do, if you didn't care how many digits came afterwards, you would do that by, instead of doing question marks, you would say 917 659 and a star. This is going to say, I want the record to start with these 6 characters, and I don't care if there's no characters that follow or if there's 10 characters that follow. It will, and you know what, I keep forgetting to push return. Run now, and now we'll see if we get anything else. Likely not, because usually it's just a phone number. Here's, I think I just saw, I think it's just the spacing of them. But here, oh, I could pull up, this one's a uniquely one. I'd have to pull this one up. But you will get just 917 659 and anything that came after that. Another example of how you might utilize this would be to, you know, like as an example, I can delete it out and let's add in device. So for like phone systems that include device information in the raw data, like Cisco and WebEx, we can say, you know what, let's go ahead and do like, and I want to see anything like an analog device. I looked that up earlier. We have analog devices, but you know, the analog devices are the full MAC address. I just want to see any result for today that have analog. Return now. And so right now it's saying anything that starts with AN as a device, and we'll see device show up here on the right, that start with AN, and see here's all of our analogs. You can do that with SAP devices. So SAP devices or Jabber devices, maybe if you're still utilizing them as well. The asterisk does not have to be at the end. It could also technically be at the front. So again, if you're trying to look for any, let's get rid of device. Device is not a good one. Let's go ahead and add phone number back in. Phone number, and do a like statement, and we'll start it with a star. We could end it with extension 1447 or phone number 1447 and run that. And you're going to see any result in the phone number field that ends in 147. But I need to add phone number here. Let me go ahead and add that, because you're probably saying, hey, why are we saying just calling party 1338? It depends on that phone number into the product. Let's put it right here. So now we'll run it, and you'll see that phone number is listed here. The other one was just called party. 1447, 1447, 1447. We're saying anything that starts with phone number 1447, that's what we're going to get. Okay. So the utilization of wildcards can significantly enhance the flexibility of the like operator by allowing you to match patterns within a text field. Okay. And so that's kind of my demonstration of operators, because I feel like they're underused or overlooked, and people don't quite understand how they function. I would also say that the classic product with the operators, when you look at something like, here, let me pull one up, and you know, no, not that one. Let's go ahead and add extension. That the explanation of, let's go to extension and add, and look at that, where includes is an exact match scenario. To me, that doesn't translate well. And so it's nice that within the newer product, it now is equals, which does, in my opinion, be an exact match scenario kind of scenario. Also, utilizing starts with and ends with also kind of helps you utilize a wildcard scenario without actually having to build out the wildcards. You can do wildcard still and give you a little bit more flexibility, but starts with and ends with kind of allows you to, if you have like, say, like it's a WebEx environment and you have your extensions end with a 10 digit, or your extensions are a 4 digit, or they have a blend of the both, and you're not sure with this particular person, you're like, all right, I know they're always going to end in at least the last 4 digits. So let me go ahead and do ends with, and then put in the 4 digits and get all results of those calls versus just the individual, or the, maybe just like, maybe I won't get any results because I'm not matching it completely. So, all right. Well, that is what I wanted to show you when it comes to operators. Um, if you're interested in some fields or get more information on fields, we can always go over a session of just going through fields. But I just like the documentation really kind of covers that, and I definitely recommend checking that out.